We now have like intros that are like old. Like that was an old intro. And now
I
like
like the beat of the old intro though.
the beat. Remember the first time I made it? It was like 20 seconds long. And then we were like, we got to cut that. We got that one's 6. That one's 6 seconds long.
6 is better.
Yeah. So Tony Maritato pulling in the parking lot. Dave Kittle on the beach, quite
Yeah.
literally, in
Yeah.
Florida. So he's off. So we're going to discuss stuff today. What do we want to start with? We just decided that we were going to talk about what today?
Yeah. So I'm going to pitch the same question to you. My question, and this, I'm actually parked right now. This applies. We're going to hit this in different ways. Jimmy, I know that you did triathlons. You were an athlete, maybe still are. My question to you is, realistically, could a therapist who's never done a triathlon effectively treat a triathlete in the clinic, whether it be somebody who's developed an injury from competing, somebody who's developed a tendinopathy or an overuse? Do you think they have the point of reference, even if they've seen all the videos, read all the books, understand what a triathlete has to do? Can they effectively develop a treatment plan and treat that individual?
Oh man, I'm going to PT this and just say it depends. It depends how curious they are. Because if you say to someone, well, what's involved in swimming? There's some shoulder stuff, there's some kicking, and now you can't figure out why the swimmer's elbow hurts, and you're not willing to go a step further, you wouldn't know that sometimes coaches tell you to really flex your wrist, and that puts a lot of pressure on the medial epicondyle. So like, it just depends. So if it's an inquisitive therapist who's going to keep saying, but why? But why? But why? Like if they're just like, if they got like a little something stuck in their craw, like I'm pissed, I can't figure this out, then yes. But if the person's just like, I understand swimming, but they've never swam and they're not willing to look, it's not, I don't think you need to be an Ironman to treat Ironman. That might be like a bold statement. But if you're not willing to ask people who've done it or are doing it, well, what goes into that? Or let me double, if you're not going to just keep double clicking, the answer would be no. You're going to stay on the surface level. So I don't think you need to necessarily have done it, but I think you need to be like just ridiculously curious to figure out, well, what goes into that? Well, why is that? Well, why is that? Well, why is that? Until you come up with an answer.
So then let's take that in two directions. Let's say, we always hear people talking about business coaches. Should you take advice from a business coach that hasn't built the business that you want to build? If you want to get, the first thing I tell everybody in my Medicare course is, look, I am not the guy to take you to a $10 million business. I've never built a $10 million business. I've never been there. It requires a different skill set. Why aren't these the same, or are they? Like, theoretically, I might understand the principles of a $10 million business, but have never experienced a $10 million business. I've never been in the water at a quarter mile, and known the feeling of whatever you feel at that point. Like, I just don't know how. Yes, I could probably like finagle it and be okay, but
then I would say your resources as a PT aren't just what you know at that moment, right? Because we go to CPGs and we go to courses or we Google stuff. So you could say like, well, I read all about sports psychology and I understand why you stop and you panic at, a half mile. You're surrounded by a half mile of water. I get it. So I'm going to say my answer's, Ben gives an example. I don't think that the comment's going to work because it's going to be, he gives a link. He says he agrees not doing it doesn't mean you can't become an expert, but not doing it and not understanding it, then no. So I guess he has an extreme example. I think I know what this is. I think it's a kicking coach, like a football kicking coach who was never a kicker. And they're like, well, I could break this down. Like it's this, do this, more this, less this. Do you ever read the book Blink by Malcolm Gladwell?
I know it. I've never read it.
I mean, I'll save you, $23 and a couple hours of your life. Essentially, Malcolm was positing, and this is a rough summation. We're pattern recognition machines. Like there was a guy in the book who was a free throw shooting expert, and you could cover all you would do is show the shooter, and you would cover like the pass. As soon as the ball left the guy's hand, you would leave. You couldn't see it, and he could like going in, going out, going in, going out, going in, going out. Like he knew it because he was like, it doesn't matter what happens after the ball leaves. Nothing's happening. Like nothing of note is happening after the ball leaves the hand. He's like, it's all this. So he could tell. There's a guy on Instagram called his Instagram handle is Lethal Shooter. And he does these ridiculous shooting challenges. Like he'll get like a rim that is like 1/8 of an inch larger than a basketball, and he'll just like knock stuff down. He actually went to St. Bonaventure University, go Bonnies. Was a really, really good college player at St. Bonaventure. And I'm not knocking my alma mater, but like he wasn't going pro. So how is he the guy that gets brought in when professional NBA players get a hitch in their giddy up? He's good at that thing. But he knows it well.
I think an interesting aspect here is, so I started boxing when I got into Penn State. I never did like organized sports before that. So I did martial arts. I grew up in a martial arts academy. I did martial arts forever, but I never really competed. Once I got into college and I was looking for something to do, I got into boxing as an intramural sport. And I can tell you, like, I remember the experience first time I got seriously punched in the face, likely broke my nose, blood everywhere. Like being in that situation is not something you can understand from reading and listening and learning in the classroom. So we bring in those other aspects. What got me thinking about this whole topic is, and I'm going to butcher his last name, even though I've known him for years. You would probably say it right. Mark Cardella.
Mark Cardella. Yep.
You know, he has just elevated into the next tier of like creators for me. His TikTok, his pain stuff is just incredible. Like Lorimer Mosley and some of the other guys, he's in that level for me right now. Anyway, I'm listening to him yesterday. I'm walking the dog. I'm thinking about all the stuff that he's talking about. I've been experiencing some back pain. I don't think you and Dave and I talked about it. I had a major like flood in my laundry room on the second floor. I left, I came home. It was like a torrential downpour in my kitchen because the second floor laundry had ruptured a hose and water was just pouring through. So anyway, so I'm doing repair work. I've done drywall. I'm working on the ceiling. I spend a lot of time in extension for a couple of days. My low back is killing me, like worst low back pain I've had in a long time. And it's got me thinking about, okay, you know, I've had sore backs. I've had like fascial pain. I theoretically understand what my patients describe to me, but now I've experienced a very specific kind of back pain, like a virtually debilitating back pain. And so now I feel like I can better treat certain individuals. I am going to say it does confirm my biases. What I thought I understood to what now I feel like I understand better. It's cemented certain ideas for me about back pain. But that being said, I see this carry through so many like categories in life.
Yeah.
Not taking advice from a business coach who's never run a successful business.
Right.
Not taking advice from, you know, a sports therapist who's never played the sport that they're trying to coach. And it's really, really hard for me watching all of the social media content to hear somebody who's never experienced the condition so emphatically telling the patient what they should be experiencing, what they should be feeling. This is what's going on. You're missing so much of the context of the experience, the fear and the anxiety and the frustration and, you know, the emotional baggage and the support systems within the family and like,
oh yeah,
all of these aspects that you just will never get out of a book.
Yeah, I agree. You can tell when someone is telling you something from a book or when someone has walked through it. There's nuance to that. I'll read Ben's comment in a minute because he's dropping paragraphs. He's about dropping full paragraphs. I love that. Ben, we'll just send you a link. We'll get you on the show. It's easier to read. I can see that. I mean, you know, for a while there, 3 or 4 years ago, the thing was mentorship for students. That was the thing everybody was selling. And I felt really icky about that. And that was legit. Like clinicians were like, do you want to be mentored? Because I'm a clinician and I've been doing this for 10 years and you've been doing it for 10 weeks. And do you feel awkward and all those things? And it just felt predatory to me. Like, I don't know, like there's an exchange of value and people thought the money was worth it. So some of the students gave it. It just felt icky to me. So yeah, I get that where someone is like, I build a 7-figure business. They love talking figures. We're going to build 7-figure businesses and 8-figure businesses, but you look into their credentials and they haven't. And there's something to that. Well, I would push back on like, could you as a physical therapist help a triathlete rehab? You have extensive knowledge in rehab. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like the person is coming off cold. Like, so I guess the researchers out there would be able to answer or set up this experiment better. Who'd be better at helping a triathlete rehab? A coach with extensive triathlon experience, a PT with a lot of rehab experience, but no competitive experience. Like, you need to tease that out. The answer is somewhere in the middle. The answer is someone who gives a shit. Ryan Clark is he's on ESPN, but he was a Pro Bowler, like 3 or 4-time Pro Bowler in the NFL, played for the Steelers and the Giants. I saw him speak at a medical conference in DC, and he had an issue. I think it was sickle cell anemia or something with his spleen. Every test was coming back, you're fine. And he was like wasting away. And they're like, you're fine. You're fine. He's like, I'm dropping weight. I can't get out of bed. I'm a defensive back in the NFL. I cannot get out of bed. And the NFL doctor from his team was like, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine. He went and hired his own doctor. And this doctor sat down and he's like, all your tests are fine. And he was like, here we go again. And he goes, no, something is clearly not fine. You're telling me you're not fine. I look at you. You don't look fine. I look at a picture of you last year. That's not what you look like. Something's wrong. And then he's like, the message that Ryan Clark was giving through the room full of like medical professionals was, I just need you to give a shit. So the guy was like, because Ryan Clark was like, I'm dying. He's like, I'm going to go home and die in a couple of months because if this keeps going in the slippery slope. And he was just like, I looked at this guy. He's like, I have no idea what's going on, but we're just going to figure it out. Like, that's the kind of person you need. Now, the difference is if this is your business, like you could have someone make a really crappy decision and crash your business. That's different than like crashing your race, unless you're a professional racer. But I'm not.
Yeah, and I want to hear Ben's comment because I can't see it, but I want to take this idea into, this is where you're like, all right, am I treating the condition? Like I've never done a triathlon, but I've sprained an ankle. Am I treating the ankle or am I treating the athlete? This is where you're looking at this as, am I a holistic provider trying to address all of these issues, nutrition and psychology and emotion and all that stuff? Or am I just here to fix, a very discrete mechanical problem? What did Ben say?
Ben said this. He's like, all being said, experience is immensely helpful, which is why the guy he was talking about, Doug Blevins, who's an NFL kicking coach. Doug is the exception. And typically you find experts being leaders, like a former dancer, a former, where I play beer hockey, there's a poster of a guy who's like coaching goalies because he was a semi-professional ice hockey goalie. Like, he understands it, right? He said it's not 100% the requirement, but he would agree to think that the ex-tennis pro who is a PT would be better to treat tennis injuries than the average PT who never played. So it goes back to my PT answer. It depends, but more leans to Tony in that probably the person with experience has insight, others don't. I don't disagree there. Like, if I were to come in and be like, Tony, how many events are there? How many parts are there to a triathlon? What would it's not a trick question.
3.
I would say it is a trick question because if you're doing a long distance triathlon, it's swim, bike, run, think, and eat. You got a lot of time to think and be nervous and overcalculate, and you have to keep eating. So it's like, oh yeah, but a shorter triathlon, nutrition, not so much. When I see people in a sprint triathlon stopping for water, and I'm like, you're not going to get sweaty in this whole race. The race it's like Usain Bolt, like taking a drink at the 100 meters. It's like, I think you'll be okay. So yeah, I think insight can definitely help. I've also seen I won't say his name, but there was a great Hong Kang. He was a CI. He wasn't my CI, but he was at the clinic I was at one of my rotations. And he just broke. He was like, don't overthink it, man. It's just movement. Like, he's like a baseball pitcher, dancer. He's like, he just had this way of looking at things though, where he's like, show me the thing that makes you hurt. And like, they do it 10 times. And he's like, okay, we do this. And he was just like, dude looked so disinterested. I was like, this guy does not care. He's just over in the corner and was just on his notes. And he'd like look up and be like, do this. And he looked so disinterested, but he got like such great results. And he only did what he needed to do. You know what I mean? Like, there was no wasted effort. There was no wasted energy. There wasn't a wasted, I wouldn't even say it was a wasted word. There wasn't even a wasted syllable. Dude just knew exactly what to do. And he's like, it's just movement. What do you do? So what made you think of this?
Everything goes back into marketing for me. So I was sitting here and I'm like, I flip through TikTok and Instagram and I'm watching these younger clinicians that are coming out, creating content. I'm thinking about target demographics, who you're talking to. And I even think about myself, like my total knee replacement community. I've never had a total knee replacement. I don't care if I've treated hundreds of patients after a knee replacement or thousands of people online. It's one of those deals where I've never been in your shoes. And I acknowledge it. And I say that. And I'm like, look, the best thing that I could deliver is I could say, you, Mr. Patient, can talk to your brother, your sister, somebody who had a knee replacement. I can bring you the experience of hundreds of people who have had a knee replacement, but I've never been there. I've never experienced it. And so when I'm thinking of my back pain at an age of 50, I'm like, there's no person who hasn't experienced what I'm experiencing who can really understand what I'm feeling. And in my opinion, I don't think they can create an effective treatment plan because they're going to come at me with all their techniques and their specialties and their biases and their ideas. I think I would be really hard pressed to find a therapist who really understood exactly what I'm experiencing right now. And it's something that has taken me out of commission from a training perspective. I haven't run, I haven't lifted. There's a bunch of stuff that I literally can't do. Doesn't mean I haven't done other things. Doesn't mean I've stopped working. Doesn't mean, I've changed behaviors. But I think if I was an uneducated consumer who doesn't really understand what I'm feeling, coming into a therapist, and I hate to put an age on it, but I'm just going to say like a 25-year-old therapist, they're going to take me through all of these special tests and they're going to take me through all of these things. And I'm going to have positive findings for, I probably have had stenosis for 20 years and I probably had these other things. And I don't know, it's just, so I go in two directions with this. One, I don't know that I could find a clinician who could effectively treat me for what I'm dealing with right now. If I don't understand they don't understand their own experiences. And two, why are we not making this the focus of our marketing messages? Like I know there are therapists who say, hey, I come from a sports background. I played collegiate football. I understand these things, but I want to see more of that. I want to see every therapist out there saying, I understand, I can empathize, I can connect with, because these are my personal experiences. This is what I've been through. Now, I would share this experience, but I don't want to because I don't want a bunch of low back pain referrals. Right. That is not what I want at my clinic. So there's the business side of it that says stay away from low back pain. That is not what we do. That's not the culture of our clinic. But it just got me thinking from a marketing perspective, if I did want that kind of referral, how would I communicate it?
Yeah. I mean, I'd be remiss if my friend Jamie, who's a psychologist, were listening, because he listens to the show sometimes and he loves when I try to be an amateur psychologist. But he did teach me this. Did we talk about this before? The difference between empathy and sympathy?
Tell me. I don't know.
I can have empathy for a woman who's pregnant and what it's like to give birth. I can't have sympathy for it because I haven't done it. But I can imagine, right? I could be like, oh man, look at how she's standing. Her back must be killing her or whatever. Or, gosh, that must be so uncomfortable after hearing. But I can't have sympathy. Someone else who's done it can have sympathy, but knowing that like no two experiences are exactly alike. So I don't think Tony needs to get a knee replacement himself, even though he doesn't need one, just to go through the process of being able to have it. There was a doctor who just amputated his own leg, but he had a little psychology issue. He Some people have a thing. That's a thing, like
Yeah.
a deep-seated psychology issue to amputate. I think you just need to ask the right questions, right? I mean, people will reveal themselves. Like,
Well, what you were getting to, and I agree. I think the best compromise for all of this is, if I was going to try to find a therapist, go to therapy somewhere, I would be looking for somebody who's going to function as an associate, not a healer. You know, somebody who's going to work with me to help me try to figure this out, not somebody who's going to say, I have the cure for you. This is what we're going to do. And so I think even that kind of line of thought is something that we should communicate in our marketing message, if that's what we want to be. Like, I don't want to be the healer. I don't want to be the guru. I don't want to be the one that has the
what people
fix.
do, right?
I tell every one of my patients, look, I probably don't know what the root cause of this problem is. I'm going to do the best to eliminate the things that just absolutely don't make sense. This doesn't seem like a bone problem. This doesn't seem like a ligament problem. This doesn't seem like, you know, whatever. And in the process of us eliminating what we probably don't think this is, we're going to work on moving, getting fit, getting strong, like doing things that don't make you feel worse, and potentially improve your fitness level and health level. And maybe at the end, even if you don't have less pain, we're going to be healthier. Maybe we'll be stronger, and we're going to have things that we can use to kind of control what's going on better than you have right now. Like, that's the kind of therapist that I've always been, that I want to be. So I don't need to be an expert. I don't need to be a triathlete in order to help them kind of discover the path back to where they want to be. I'm just going to come with you along for the ride.
Yeah, it's the difference between the hero and the guide. Like, I'm going to be the guide, but also it's like, am I being the guide for you know, in terms of rehab, or am I being the guide for performance? Those are two different things. You can have someone who's the ex Ironman champion who is now really great at coaching. You could have someone who's a mediocre athlete be a really great coach, because they're just, coaching is a skill, right? And being an athlete has a set of skills. And you might have done all the same things, right? But you just didn't have it. I don't know. Your legs weren't long enough, or you just weren't big enough, or whatever. Just you didn't have it. So yes. I mean, I think we've seen our fair share. If you brought up Mark Cardula, one example of this would be if someone asks, I was very confused by this. We have that pain scale from 0 to 10. Where's your pain, right? And then someone says 10. And I remember I did this too when I was a student. I was like, oh yeah, you know, 10s, you just got stung by bees in the eyeball with salt. And they're like, yeah, it's a 10. And I remember being like, this person just wants attention or whatever. And then you look back at it, or you hear someone like Mark, and I'm pretty sure it was him having the discussion, is like, how do you know? Like, that person could be sitting completely calm, and they're so used to what 10 is, whatever. I don't know. You made the scale up, dumbass. I answered it. Why are you mad at me? Why are you doubting me? Is it because I'm not screaming and bleeding? Right? Is that what or are you trying to, like, are you trying to teach me something? It's not that bad, buddy. Or I've also heard this, and it's probably an amalgamation of all of them, which is like, has this person said it's a 6 and it really hurts 4,000 times that I'm like, I guess I have to yell a 10. We've called rental car company and screamed, operate, operator, because you're just frustrated with the process. You're like, I guess I have to be a dick to get the result, because I've been nice, that didn't work, now I need to scream. So it's like, sometimes people are just in the system. You put them in the system, and they said 10, and you doubted them. Who the hell are you? Who the hell are you to doubt them, right? I don't know. But I think if Mark were here, he'd bring that up.
Talking about pain scales, I think it was, I don't even know, 15 years ago. I've been practice owner 25 years. So let's go back like 15, 18 years ago. I was like, why am I wasting my time asking patients for a number when the patient, on the best of days, the patient's going to be like, well, in the morning or in the afternoon, with pain meds or without pain meds, like, we understand the context around pain, and it's so dependent on, are you fearful, anxiety, did you sleep well last night, are you hungry, like all of these influencing factors. I'm like, it makes no sense. So I had transitioned to, okay, I don't want a subjective pain report. I'm never going to ask you for a pain number.
Right.
I found the Mankowski, and I don't know if I'm saying that right, pain scale, which had descriptors of what a 7 would be, what a 5 would be. And then I would use the physical manifestation of what I could observe as an indication of pain level. But even with that, I mean, it's completely ridiculous. Like, I would tell you a deep searing pain, but it makes me laugh. My response to discomfort, my response, even if, something bad happens, my first response is to laugh. I have a nervous habit of laughing. And so I remember a couple of years ago, I think I fractured an ankle, stepped on the edge of a basketball court. It was immense pain. I was laying on the ground laughing hysterically because I didn't know what else to do, but that is the way pain comes out for me. An observer would look at me and be like, what the heck? It can't hurt that much.
Right.
So yeah, I think the pain scale is absurd. I think it's ridiculous that we're still teaching students to use the pain scale. It's never been an effective tool.
Yeah, Ben said he heard someone say this: if I used a rusty knife to pull off your skin right now, would your pain increase from the 10? If so, it's not a 10. Yes, dumb, I get it. Like, he heard a PT say that once. I think the only effective pain scale, have you ever seen this one? This is the improved pain scale.
Yeah.
Number 1 might be an itch. Number 2, I just need a Band-Aid. Number 6 is bees. Number 9, mauled by a bear. I guess that's accurate. But also, like, I always like to ask, or someone smart taught me to ask, what are you going to do with that information?
Right.
So it's a 9. Okay. Well, that's better than yesterday. Why don't you look on the bright side? I'm here and it's a 9. So I get it. Let's all look on the bright side. What are we going to do about it? What does that 9 change any of your information or not? Does it change your treatment plan? If not, I don't know. Great information. Good to know.
Yeah. I agree. Anything before we wrap this up? And I know we had shared some topic ideas. If you want to take a look in the chat,
I've got one.
Go ahead.
So I'm doing this. I was talking to some people the other day about what we see on like social media, right? So what we see and what people are looking for, and the debate comes in, or maybe I just notice it, and then it comes out, and then it comes back again. I've seen it 10 times in my 10 years, and it's how much business content should be in PT school, right? And I look at them and I say, like, first of all, there needs to be business content, or that school isn't accredited. So I'm going to defend the academics there. There has to be a checkbox list of those things. But the question always is it enough? And I would always say, I don't think that's the role of PT school, right? It's actually in the name. If you look very, very closely, it says physical therapy school. The school is teaching you how to be a physical. I know it's confusing. It should be school of physical therapy. But there's also a business school. There's a communication school. There's a school of psychology. So I'm not saying no content, or if you're curious about it, there was no content about ice hockey or gymnastics in my PT program. But if I wanted to treat ice hockey players or gymnasts, I would need to go on to more schooling or look into it myself. But anyway, we got to going in circles, and someone said, how much business content is on your podcast specifically? I'm like, well, I think it's sprinkled in there, and we're talking about stuff that's related to business, because I think when you boil business down, it's a value exchange between people. It's communicating that. There's psychology elements. There's rules and regulations, which I don't want to touch with a 10-foot pole. So I just said, gosh, I know a lot of people, but I've never like really structured it in terms of a course. I've never done it. I'm also not selling a course. This is not my prelude to, for just $93, you can have the MBA. I'm not doing that. This will be open sourced. This will be free. This will be, what is it called? Like, where we create it in a group, like just like group created, group think, whatever we're doing. The experts, I am vetting them. I sort of have to know if they've got it. If I would take a course, if this person were teaching that, would I trust that person enough to do that? So I posted this on LinkedIn yesterday, not even 24 hours ago. Did you see this? I think I tagged you in it.
I've been in a LinkedIn
I
drought.
tagged you
I
in it,
haven't gone
Tony. I
there.
was looking for you to teach a course. So I just literally said the MBA, Masters of Business Administration, for the DPT. This would not be in a syllabus. This would not be in a school. So I said PT schools taught us how to treat patients, didn't teach us how to run a business, lead a team, design a career. Because again, you don't need to just run. You don't have to just want to run a business. You could want to be in a business. But part of that would be running a team, all those different things. So what if we unfixed it? So I created, and I know this is going to shock you, Tony, with ChatGPT. What would the syllabus be for a physical therapist who wanted to know more about business? What would be the MBA light for a DPT? And it spit out a syllabus. We're going to break up into 4 semesters. So we're going to do this in 2026, 4 quarters, 5 or 6 courses per quarter. And I just put it out there. Who wants to teach what course? And I did not, besides you and a couple other people, I did not ping a lot of people. This was not like an attention grab, but people have showed up. Will Boyd just chimed in. It's like, I'll do number 1, the thing we say we need in school. I would actually say we need it before you go to PTs, before you sign on for a loan. You have to understand it's too late when you're doing it there. But Will Boyd's like, I'll do money literacy. Chad Madden, known for marketing, is like, I'll do marketing 101, right? Amit is a guy I know who's a business consultant, has jumped on for Bun. I've had Lucas Van Etten from Ohio on a couple times. So I'm sort of crowdsourcing these things where I've said, these are the things this is how I've used my podcast for 10 years. I want to know some stuff. I don't feel like paying for the course or taking too much time. Could you just like have a beer with me and like, just give me the beats, give me the Cliffs Notes. So you're not going to get a certificate at the end of this. You're just not. But you will walk away with some good ideas. So think of this as like a less scripted, although I've already had a conversation with several of these people going, do you want me to do slides? Not slides? Like, is this a conversation? Is this Q&A? And I keep pushing back like a good therapist. And I go, depends. How do you picture this? Does it need slides? Because we can record the video, which is fine. I'm not going to edit it a ton, if at all. But the goal is to give people a taste while you're driving, or, tour from class, tour from clinical, tour from work. So that's the idea. So I'm crowdsourcing that, and that's my goal for 2026. That's my big, hairy, audacious goal for 2026. So what are you teaching, Tony?
I don't know, but I love the idea. How have we never done that before? How have you never done that before?
I started to in PT school. I said, I want to be in sports. This is back when I thought I wanted to be a sports physical therapist. So I was like, I have a podcast. I will interview someone who's like an expert at baseball, football, track, swimming. And then I want to get into weird, like fencing or like, I don't like weird sports and get into it. And what I found is like, there was some nuance to it, but was it interesting enough to do a conversation with each? Kinda, it was, but I lost interest. I also didn't want to be a sports physical therapist anymore. I'm still interested in this. So look at this. I get to ride sidecar on this motorcycle sidecar little journey with these smart people while they ride around. And listen, this is Seinfeld, going for coffee in cars with donuts or whatever his show is. So that's the syllabus. I would love for you and Dave to take a look and see if I missed anything. We can always add to it. I mean, there's no rules here. And I would like to make it a mix of people. Like, I like the fact that like someone like Will Boyd or Chad Madden, who probably could teach 5 or 6 of these, was like, I'll take one. And I like that because now I know it'll be a higher likelihood of them getting it done because I know how I am too. But I also like how we're just going to like, I don't know, man, mix it up, toss the salad.
Please don't say that.
I wanted to see if I could make you laugh.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I would say, bringing more voices in is what we want. I'll just fill in the gaps where needed, where I can. Ben
said maybe you do get a certificate. It says it's not that hard to partner with an educational institution on this. Really? See, that's coming from someone like me who's like, it's probably, if it's more than 4 pages of paperwork, I'm out. Like, I wouldn't still have a driver's license if it was difficult. But yeah, you're probably right. I mean, Matt Kondo is a professor. He came to me and he would make a bunch of stuff for my NPTE study podcast. We got published somewhere in some journal that Matt could tell you what it was. He was like, let's study if studying for the NPTE with a podcast like helps. And I'm like, okay, you're in charge of how to do. I don't know how to do that. I'll be the podcast guy. You do that. And we got published. And I could find that somewhere. But yeah, I guess maybe, I don't know, Ben, you're smarter than me. We'll give out a certificate. I can make something on. Well, first of all, you can just make certificates. Like you can go to Canva and you can just make those. So good idea. Stephen Dunn says he's in it too. He said, even some of us old clinic owners are interested in it as well. I think if you're an old clinic owner and you're still around, it shows that you probably have the desire to learn more. Because if you didn't, you wouldn't have learned more, and you probably would have been phased out by now. I mean, you evolved. So this is built out of my curiosity, and we'll see where it goes. But I would love suggestions too. If you think like, oh, I would love to learn from this person on this topic, I don't think they need to be in PT specifically as well. I don't think that's a prerequisite. Look at me using educational terms like prerequisite.
All right, that's awesome. What else do we got?
I was looking through the chat.
I didn't get a chance to read Larry's recent article. Did you get a chance to read that? I think Dave shared it.
I read the title and then I read the comments to see which direction people are going. But the one you're talking about was the one he was talking about, Hinge or Sword?
Yeah. What was the general theme that you picked up?
I mean, he shared an image of a stick figure, and he's like, when your $3 billion AI care model comes with stick figures and no PT, how much is actually there? Was the vibe that I was getting.
So I shared, and this is what got me thinking of it. I go through my old photos and videos, and actually this morning on the way here, I shared a post saying, hey guys, like if you're not capturing photos and videos just all day long, you're missing out on a ton of value. I wanted to get some posts out on my Facebook business page and Instagram and TikTok. So what I do is I go into my desktop and I'm like, iPhone downloads, and I find all of the stuff that I pull off my phone. And in the past, I had found pictures of home exercise programs. Now, some were stick figures, some were drawings, some were photos of people, but this was stuff like, even in the best of what I found, it was like Microsoft Word. You take a photo, you put it into a Word document, you type up the description, and that's the home exercise program. And it's been printed out thousands of times. And so I shared a post. Maybe I didn't word it correctly, kind of saying, hey guys, it's 2025. This is 2005 content. Why are we still producing this? We want to get paid more. We want to be better respected. And yet we're putting junk like this out. And holy cow, I was surprised at how many therapists were like, geriatrics don't know how to use technology. Geriatrics don't want smartphones. They need this kind of stuff. Even if that was the case, which it's not, I've got a clinic full of geriatrics who want me to send them videos on their smartphones that they can reference with verbal explanations of what they should be doing. But I get it. Yeah, like there's still a place for paper copies of things. I was just amazed at how resistant therapists were to saying, hey, we can make this better. So I've always said, look, if I'm going to give you a stick figure, it's going to be free. If I'm going to give you something better, there might be some costs associated with it, especially if I'm updating it outside of billable face-to-face time. That's a different topic. But I was just surprised at how resistant so many therapists were to saying, hey, we could probably do better than these stick figures.
Is it because it's hard that they would have to make a change? Ironically, like, isn't it, if I were my friend Jamie would say, every accusation is an admission. These geriatrics don't understand technology. Oh, so you don't know how to use anything better. Or it's effort on your part to have to do that outside of, well, just go over to HEP to go and hit click print. My grandmother was 99 and a half. Gammy just passed away a few months ago. She was on Facebook. She was texting, and she wasn't just like on there. Like she would chime in the group chat with the family and make funny, like she had comedic timing at 99. We're going to round up, say she was 100 because she was 99 and a half. So that is a cop out, especially in 2025. Like I'm wondering when that is going. And I can actually hear APTA geriatrics members cheering because they've known this for years. Is someone, well, who's the app? What's the app? HEP to go is essentially stick figures, like in a printed form, but like, hey, listen, did its job for a long time. Have we not evolved from that? Is there nothing out there? I know like every EMR wants to do the thing and they sort of have it embedded, but like, has anybody done it well?
I haven't seen it, and my point in sharing that more was not to necessarily say we need to completely do away with this, but it's to say, look, we can do better than this. And even if you have somebody at the other end, now my mother-in-law, I think she's 92, she loves her phone because she can't hear. She's got like 98% hearing loss. She can read lips. If you talk to her directly, she has no cognitive deficits, but she loves the phone because she can read the text message and she can kind of watch the videos, and especially with closed caption, I mean, it's opened up her world to so many new things. So like there are advantages in both directions. My thing is, no, I haven't seen a platform out there that does it well. I know there is a way to do it well. We just need somebody to figure it out. That's all I'm saying.
Are we 2 weeks? I was going to say, are we 6 months to a year away? But really, are we 2 weeks away from, I mean, look, I don't know how to code, but we have AI scribes. I think the issue is like exercises and movement, like have all these like jargony terms. What I might call it this, you might call it that, and it's weird. Now the patient in the middle is like, I don't really know. And then if you want to modify something to do something, do this, but do it like this, not as deep, whatever. So you could record that and then add something like an AI video generator. So the process would be like, all right, hey, listen, it's the last 5 minutes. You prompt your AI scribe. Hey, it's the last 5 minutes. Let's work on the 3 exercises I'm going to give you. Here's number 1. I'm going to do it. Add computer vision to this part, right? Or you could just describe it, as now it gets a little tricky. You have to be a good describer. We're going to modify it, not as deep. Got it. There's video number 1. Let's do video 2. Here's video 3. And then let's get that texted over you. And now it should be able to be texted through the EMR because you have that patient's cell phone number logged in there, and we can send text messages. So let me know when my royalties check should show up. I'll let you know the address because we just invented how to do it, right? But we're there. Like nothing I just said, the connections between might be broken, but everything I just said is possible right now, correct?
Yeah, 100%. And I think we would probably find that it's being done in other professions. I showed you guys, when my car goes into the shop, Toyota puts it up on the lift. The mechanic takes a phone, I don't know if it's his phone or the company's phone, records a video showing me the undercarriage of my car, showing me the wheel, showing me the inspection that he's doing in real time, shoots that video over to me so that I can then make a decision to say, yes, I want this, this, and this, and pay for it right then and there over the phone. My car is literally still on the lift when I make that decision.
You know that is an app where I'm guessing the mechanic is prompted. It's an oil change. It brings up an oil change template. Yeah. Okay. Video 1, show you, I need to see the dipstick. Pull the video of the dipstick, right? He's probably got a chest mount so he can be doing the thing while he's showing you things with his hands. And whatever that app cost to develop, I mean, that's like, it's like creating a video with guardrails. It's bowling with bumpers. It's like, you can't really miss. It's like, okay, shoot a 10-second or less video of you showing the dipstick and walk through what we've said. Or it's got the script right on it and teleprompter. And then you hit next and it brings you to okay, now go to the tire and show the tread. Even if the tread is good, right? Because that shows your tread is good. Look, this is the tool, we measure it, and you still got a ways to go. Come back in a couple thousand miles and we'll check it again. You do those 8-point, 15-point inspections and you show, not tell. Everybody's favorite day was show and tell. But every day is a tell day at school. Not every day are you allowed to bring in something cool and show people. So that was showing. There have been a lot of apps that have tried to do this, right? Like postural apps and things like that. I think the pushback there is they're like, dude, like that's not really showing, everybody's different. We're not tires. I know the body mechanic analogy works, but doesn't. I do like the use of video to show people results, though. I think that's good. Look at personal trainers or people in weight loss. That's their bread and butter.
So what's interesting here, and I'll just share what I do. Everybody who comes through my door signs a media release, signs the normal HIPAA privacy notice, signs all of that stuff. Usually on the first session, and then periodically throughout the plan of care, I'm recording content. So, and you can see it on any of my media, 2 or 3 things. This is what we're going to do. This is what your home program is. I record it while you're in the clinic. I immediately text it to your phone so that I have confirmation you received it, I sent it, but I also have the privacy notices in place because I'm going to share it. And they know that I'm going to share it. This benefits me and the patient in several ways. One, the patient sees themselves. They're not seeing a fitness model. They're not seeing a 20-year-old. This goes back to the beginning of the show where we said, this is relatable. You see a real human that happens to be you. You hear what the therapist is telling you because it's my voice coming through the phone behind the camera. You hear the instructions, you hear the reps and sets, you hear the frequency, you hear everything that's supposed to happen. I can capture, let's say, a minute, and that minute that would have normally been paid for by the insurance and never gotten paid again, I can capture that minute of time and monetize it for the next 5 to 10 years because social media is going to continue to pay me if it's a good clip and if other people want to see that clip. I can provide access to individuals anywhere in the world to hear what a physical therapist in the United States would be telling them if they had the same condition completely for free. That person in India gets free access to care. I get paid by the advertisers and potentially the product company. My patient gets the best possible example and explanation of what they should be doing at home until we update the home exercise program. And I do it in the session. So it's not like I have to take time away that's not billable from, or take time away from other, people to go in and create the HCP and do all of this stuff. Like I am doing this at point of contact as part of the paid treatment session. It to me, it makes so much sense. And now, does every single patient who walk in my door want a service like that? No. Okay. So I don't do it for them, but it's the vast minority of people, less than a 10%, who don't want that. Most of the other people do want that service.
Why aren't you sharing these things? Tony just turned his clinic into show and tell day every day. Was talking with someone the other day. I won't say who, but they were looking to raise their rates. And they're, how do they do that? Did we talk about this?
No.
We might have talked about this on the side. So they were going to raise their rates. I forget what it was. Let's say they're going to raise them. They haven't done it in 5 years. They have to raise it 20%, which is actually should be advocating for you to raise your rates more often. So it doesn't need to be 20% to stay afloat. So I'll just, that's a little mini lesson right there. But what I had suggested was, here's a crazy idea. Here's someone who's never done it, throwing out a Hail Mary, a what if? I haven't done it, but let's try it. So my suggestion was, what if you said, you have to rate, we're raising our rate 30%. We'll give you a 10% discount if you sign a media release. You were okay with the 20. It's going up 20. 20 is, but you can reduce it. That's similar to what someone taught me once. If you want to build a housing development with 100 houses in it, you go submit plans to the town board for 750 houses, and they talk you down to 100 houses, and you're like, fine, you win. I'll only do 100. We'll scale this back, right? So the idea there being is each choice is a win. You're like, do you not want to be on camera? You're not going to sign the release? That's fine. It's totally your thing. We give a 10% discount. I'm sure. I'm wondering if someone seal coats my driveway or paints my house, and then there's a sign in my lawn for 2 weeks. Did I get something for that? Or am I just being nice because the guys were good? Like, I'm always like, no, I paid you. You did the thing I paid you. You don't get to advertise on my lawn. But I know people who've said, oh, you know what? We'll give you $250 off. It was never the $250 that you weren't going to take off was going to go in that guy's pocket, like just right there, the driver. But that's the idea. So what do you think of that strategy? Listen, we're going to increase prices 30%. We'll give you 10% off if you sign the social media release.
I like the idea. I don't like the strategy. First, let me ask you, why 20%?
Why was this person doing 20% at all?
Yeah.
They hadn't raised their rates in a million years, and they were like, we can't stay solvent. And I'm like, okay, so why aren't you charging more? I feel bad. I don't want to raise my rates. My patients can't pay it. And I'm like, do you know that?
20% just seems like it's not even worth it. You know,
you think more?
Yeah. 100. Okay. Yes. I don't know what their base rate is.
1% was too much for this clinician who was like, I can't raise any rates. I go,
but that's the thing. If you're going to go through the pain, if you don't want to raise rates, 1%, 20%, 50%, it's all going to hurt. Let's just go for 50%. You know, now, again, I don't know what the rates are, but if you're 20% just seems like it's in that uncomfortable zone, but not really going to make an impact. Let's overshoot, which is kind of what you're saying.
Right.
I don't like making the value exchange of let me record media, because I think people are going to let you record it anyway. I don't think you're gaining any benefit from that. I do love the idea of saying, hey, we're going to double our rates, but for existing clients, we're going to give you 50% off of that. So you're only going to get a 50% increase, you know? And I would just leave it at that. Like it's a reward for being a longtime client that you're not going to go to $300. You're only going to go to $200. I think that's plenty of thank you for being a customer. I would also say if you're going to raise 20, you're going to lose people no matter what. You have to raise enough to make up for the number of people you lose.
Yep.
But to your main topic here, people love media. Either they love it or they hate it. If they don't want it, they're not going to do it anyway. If I went into an exchange to say, hey, I'm going to record and share this in exchange for something, I would go straight on, look, I'll treat you for free.
Right.
We've got plenty of individuals that come, they get referred to us. They have high deductible plans. They absolutely cannot afford therapy. I would do an exchange with that person saying, hey, I want to see you. I know you can't afford it. I know nobody else. Somebody called yesterday. They got quoted $300 an hour at another larger corporate clinic. You know, so we're like, look, we can work with you on this. This is what we're going to do based on your diagnosis, not having evaluated you. This is really what I think you probably need. We give them a flat rate and we're like, do with that what you want.
Right.
But my point being is, yeah, I just 20% seems crazy to waste all of that effort. Go for 50% or more. I would not do 20.
1% was too much. I can't believe I have to raise the rate. And I'm like, my man, like, have you watched television for the last 20 years? Like everything's more expensive.
Yeah.
But, you know, the whole conversation. And once someone put this in perspective for me, you can't unsee it, which is people complain about needs, not wants. I will complain about the price of food, gasoline, health insurance. Those are needs, not wants. I need those things. I die without them. Food, shelter, clothing, medical care. Have you been to what's the team that you go to? You're the Reds fan, right?
For baseball, we're the Reds. For football, Bengals.
What's a night out at the Reds to watch the Reds play for you and the kids?
This is a great example. Like we can go to a Reds game. It's decent seats, not great seats, not terrible seats, are going to be like $35. And then, you know, you're going to pay for food. You're going to pay for parking. I mean, there's 6 of us, right? My wife, myself, the 4 kids. You're talking about a $500 event.
And that,
if we went to football, it's like $200 a ticket for like just the same quality.
9 home games. That's it. Only 9 home games. There's 82 home games or 81 home games in professional baseball. Yeah. I went to a Yankee playoff game. Somebody got tickets. The tickets weren't crazy. So it was Yankees, Red Sox, wild card Series. $125 for the ticket. I was like, sold. Like, when am I going to see this again? My best friend is a Red Sox fan. So he's like, we got to go. I'll get the drinks because he organized we went with a bunch of dudes, bus ride down there. I was like, I'll get the first round. I got a vodka soda. The guy at the counter goes, single or a double? And I'm like, we're at Yankees Red Sox. When are we going to do this again? Double it up, my man. And then the guy says, how much do you think 2 double vodka sodas in left field at Yankee Stadium was?
I got a story too, but I'm going to be the nice guy and I'm going to say $50 knowing that it's more.
It was $55 each. Each drink was $55. But we got to keep the cup. We got to keep the cup. What's your story?
Yeah, we have some really great friends of ours. They have like really great seats, box seats, free food, all this stuff. So I'm like, hey, I'm going to get a round of drinks. I'm going to go to the bar. Meanwhile, I've never been to this section of the ballpark. I'm like, hey, let me get to whatever the drinks were. One for my wife, one for his wife. And the guy's like, all right, that'll be $50. So what? Like, they're little drinks, I was like, holy cow. But again, so going back to the person who's raising rates, it's like, have you never been somewhere that something was painfully expensive? I'm sure you have. And you have a decision. Do I want to buy it or not? Like, I'm not forced to buy it. And this is where we get into that weird dynamic. And I know we're running out of time, where it's like, hey, is this something? And I think what killed us as a profession was when we got into medical necessity.
Right.
Because if you're going to tell me something is medically necessary, oh, is that your cup?
Yeah, the hat comes off the cup. There it is. Still have the cup. It's a $110 cup.
If something's medically necessary, I'm going to feel terrible expecting you to pay if it's something that you can't afford. Right. But I'm sorry, guys, this is not medical necessity. Like, it's not life or death.
Right.
Like, it's a nice to have. Yes, you could function better. You could survive better. We improve quality of life. We do so many of these things. At least in my clinic, it's not life or death. It's not medically necessary, And so when I would share the Maslow pyramid, you clearly see the higher you go on that pyramid, the less necessary it is, but the more valuable it is. The more people are willing to pay for it. So let's do parting shots. It's a $50 parting shot. If you're going to go through the pain of raising prices, raising your rates, do not do this little 10%, 20%, like, go big or go home. Don't waste your time. I would say 50% minimum.
Yeah.
Most people could probably double. If you're struggling with the idea of raising your rates, you're probably undercharging already. Double those rates. And then you can always, offer discounts and be more flexible. Yeah. What's your parting shot?
This is the line that I used once. I had a large educational organization who was like, we want to launch a podcast. We want to do this. And I let them talk and talk and talk. And every time they said they wanted something, I would write it down on a line. And then I said, this is the rate. And they're like, can you do it for half? And my line was, I don't know how to hit half a home run. Half a home run is a pop out to second base.
Yeah.
Do you want to pop out to second base? And then I said, I know 10 people that can do it cheaper. Not going to be as good, but they'll do it. They'll do it for that, but not me. And
sounds like Chris Doe.
Yeah. Like you, it's not big timing someone, but like, if I had said yes to get the client, I'm just going to tell you this. It's a treadmill. It's a hamster wheel. You don't move. There's movement. You're burning calories and you're doing stuff, but you're not going anywhere if you do things like that. You're just trying to maintain. And it feels icky. You know how many times I've had my finger hovering over the send button on on a quote, and I've said, like, I can't believe this, and you send it, and I'm like, can I unsend it? And most of the time, if you've clearly, and I'll have a parting shot. If you've clearly described value, that person never complains. They might say, no, I don't have it, and it's not a negotiation. I would also say making sure that is very clear, and this is where I think PT almost gets a pass. It's very ambiguous. Well, how long do I have to show up, Tony? I don't know. For a while. So I don't know what this is. Is this ongoing? So that is sort of the part of our profession that sucks, is people might pay something, think they're getting this, but they just don't. Why? Body science, biology, life, it sucks. That's where I do like the idea of a flat rate and then continuing care, things like that. You can get creative, as Tony just talked about. Dave will be back from the beach, I believe, next week. Hopefully he will have a tan. There's at least 4 dozen pictures of Dave with his shirt off running on the beach, probably. Guys, he knows how to get the attention. So we'll be back. Oh, we'll be back on Thursday. Never mind. I thought today was Thursday for a hot second. I will be in Reno. I'm going to AOMPT, the AOMPT conference, American Association of Orthopedic Manual Physical Therapists. I was out there last year. Now I'm going to Reno. I hope I still have some money left.
All right, guys. Don't forget Dave Kittle Show, PT Pinecast, Learn Medicare Billing. We'll see you guys on Thursday.